Hello, everybody. You got the house. Now what?
You got the house. Don't freak out.
Don't panic.
Don't panic. It's okay.
I always wonder that sometimes when people write these like crazy offers in a multiple, if when you call them, like they just have to act excited and they're like, "Oh my God, what have we done?"
I had that one year. They ended up canceling after inspection.
We wrote some crazy.
I was like, I
terms.
feel like they were upset when I called them and told them they got it. They were like, "We did."
Oh,
Yeah, really? Are you sure? Yes. Yeah. So now you got the house. So your offer's been accepted. So now what? The first thing we do on our end is call and congratulate you and then tell you, don't worry.
Yeah.
We will get you all the next steps because it is a lot for us to throw at you to be like, this is what you do with your earnest money. I know here's some home inspectors. So we always do an email, and I'm sure a lot of agents work the same way. So we have a template. So we kind of switch out your info so that we're making sure we're not writing it on the fly. Obviously, if it's on the weekend, sometimes I'll text clients, some home inspectors to get started. But you're going to get all the information you need from us. So where does that earnest money check that we've already talked about, and we've got the amount in the offer, and now where does that go? How do we pay that, and when is the deadline? And we will give you all your deadlines, but though that is not your responsibility, and we will tell you that, and it'll state that in the email. It is our responsibility. Financing deadlines would be Laura's responsibility. So we are not going to let you miss these deadlines.
We're not going to bug you as much as your lender's going to bug you.
Yeah, for all this stuff. And we do mention that in the email too. Like, it does keep your eyes on the prize, because sometimes it seems like the lender's asking for something again, or like, why do you need that page? That page is blank. Well, if your statement says, it's page 3 of 4, and you need all 4 pages. So it's little things that when you're doing it can get overwhelming, annoying. So just keep your eyes on the prize, and remember, we're always here for you. So on our end, the first thing you're going to get from us is a congratulations phone call, but then you're going to get an email. So we'll talk about these things on the phone, but you don't need to write anything down. We're going to send it to you. Where does that earnest money go? When is my home inspection deadline? How does that work? What does that day look like? And some home inspector referrals. And we will reiterate that we've taken care of sending this to your lender. There's literally nothing besides wait for that email to come from us, and then get the earnest money out, set up your. We will send that contract to your lender, and they're going to open a file and kind of take off on their end from there.
Yeah. A lot. Yes. Because then you get
if your section back with some iffy things, and I know that those are things we'll talk to you about and go over with you. Your inspector can only tell you.
And Laura, what does it look like when you get the file? Probably very similar.
We send you the actual official loan application that has the address on it, and then things move again really quickly. You're going to feel like everything is moving quickly, but there's a reason for it. It's all of our jobs to protect your earnest money, like you mentioned, and to keep you on track for closing date, because there's probably 8 people behind the scenes that are working on your loan. Everybody has a job to do. So you just have to give everybody what we ask for.
Yes. So you'll get, while you're trying to do the earnest money and set up your inspection, your lender's already, the wheels are turning in motion at their end, and they're going to be sending you like, I need this, I need that. So you will be doing a little multitasking, but I promise that then once we get that initial, like over that first hump of inspection, it gets a lot easier. So,
yeah.
I think,
and I'm glad you brought up, if there's 8 pages, give 8 pages, because that's really a big thing, and buyers can get annoyed, but just know that.
And we lost her. And
there we go.
She's back. Weird.
If there's 8 pages of a bank statement or 5 pages, always provide all pages, because the lender has to see the bottom of your statement, top of your statement will say 1 of 5 pages, 1 of 3 pages. We have to always have them all, because for the reasons it might show that you're paying a debt that doesn't show up on your credit report. So if they see that monthly payment going out every month, they might have to mark something as a debt that you didn't disclose.
Yeah. So it will be, and we're all here for you. It will seem overwhelming and annoying, and then once the home inspection's done, we're going to take a look at it. And a lot of people, this is where the overwhelming, buyer's remorse can set in, because it's like, how am I going to afford it?
Right.
Now I have this house payment and I need all these repairs. And it's important to really look at it, break it down. Like, what are things that really should be done right away? And what are things that are just maintenance things that, like, I could do these before winter or before summer, depending on the season. Or, you know what? My friend's dad's an electrician. Let me show him this electrical stuff. This might not be a big deal. So maybe those are some things. And it can get overwhelming, but we're here to listen and, just be honest with us, because some people look at the report and now they don't want the house anymore. And that's okay. But we want to talk through that
Right.
and see.
Why do you really want it?
Yeah.
What can we make you feel better about?
Because a home is used. Think of it that way. If you're not building a home from scratch, the home is used, and there might be small things because there's annual maintenance on homes. So that's, like you said, our job to kind of help you, guide you, like, this really isn't terrible, this item.
And then depending on where you're buying, besides the home inspection, there'll be well and septic. So most people don't grow up on well and septic, haven't owned well and septic. So that's kind of a learning experience. And again, we're here to help you. We're using business partners to do these tests for you that will answer the phone and talk you through, kind of the maintenance or what to expect. So those are maybe additional inspections that not everybody will have. And then the last order, you're gonna pay for your appraisal. So that, be aware that that's something you have to pay for. And they're going to come and tell us the value of the house. And we're seeing a ton of issues. But again, these are conversations we'll have as we go along.
Yeah.
I always like to tell you the worst case scenario, it can happen. So I'm not sweeping the rug out from under you.
Yeah. And after appraisal, it's kind of smooth sailing in a sense. The lender's trying to take care of all the last minute items, getting verifications of employment with your employers, and
yes,
all of those things. We try to keep you out of the loop in that aspect. Like, we're all doing our jobs and getting you to the closing table, getting you clear to close.
Correct.
Yeah, get that clear to close and schedule a time to close, or maybe scheduling has already been done.
We plan on, when you're talking with your agent, writing these offers, make sure that day works. Not that we can't move it a little, but I've had people be like, "Oh, I'm out of town then." Because you wrote it, and now people have movers scheduled. So if you have a conflict, don't put that closing date in there just to get the house. Or, if you are going to take that road, at least get an amendment right away. Because now that, once people pay deposits with movers, or maybe people are moving to an apartment, you're shifting a lot of things. So take off that day. You deserve it. You're buying a house. It should be this fun experience. So take off. But we can be flexible on timing. And I will say, since COVID, we've seen some interesting closings and more remote things than were ever allowed before. So if there's, we have to close and there's no way you can physically be there. I've had closers go to people's place of employment. So where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
But
and power of attorney would be the last choice. A lot of people think, oh, I'll just do the power of attorney, but that is the last choice. It really has to be extenuating circumstances to allow a power of attorney at a closing. So, and the lender might have options as well. Sometimes we'll allow a fully remote closing where it's all done online with an online notary. So,
yeah. So if you know a problem's on the horizon, tell us sooner than later.
Yeah.
With anything that's closing, you just realize that your car breaks down and now I had to spend this money. How am I going to shift? You had to buy something. Said, don't buy anything.
Yeah.
And you had to, talk to us about it, because there's probably a way around it. If there is a problem that's coming up in your life, you had a co-signer, now there was a falling out and they're no longer around, like anything, we're here.
That is so important. And I'm glad you brought that up because Lindsay and I are working with a buyer and they kept apologizing for, hey, I want to do this, or we plan on doing this. And I loved the fact that they were always a step ahead and asking, can we do this? Should we do this?
Yeah.
Great questions. That's how you don't get yourself in trouble as a buyer.
Yeah. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. That's what our job is, to guide you through it.
And as always, we're always here to answer any questions. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. It's Mother's Day weekend. The weather is beautiful. So I hope all you moms out there enjoy.
We finally have good weather. It's beautiful outside.
Shocking. Spring has sprung.
Yes.
Have
All
a
right.
good one,
I'll
then.
see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.